Good evening, baseball fans and Yankee Nation. I'm Ken, and you're here with the Ugly Truth. We're going to be going into an open panel today for most of it for those who want to come up. Uh, excuse me. The Yankees are about to head into a series against the Houston Astros at the stadium. Could this be the series that is the launching point for the Yankees for the remainder of the season? Hey, Stephen B., how's it going? I'm going to drop the link down. The Astros are going to face a 3-game set against us. Oh, understood, Stephen B. Not a problem. The Astros game 1 matchup is going to be Hunter Brown versus Cam Schlittler. Brown is 9-5 on the season with a 2.47 ERA. Understood. And Cam Schlittler is 1-2 with a 4.58 ERA. Definite pitching advantage for the Astros. I'm going to bring Jonathan up.
Hi.
Jonathan, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Game 2 is going to be Framber Valdez versus Luis Hill, another advantage pitching matchup for the Astros. In Game 3, they haven't identified their starter yet. Hey, John the Beagle Dad, welcome. And whoever that is going to be facing up against Luis Hill. Currently, the Astros are 64-51 and are in first place in the AL West. They have a 2-game lead ahead of the Mariners. In the past 10 games, they are 4-6. And since the All-Star break, they are 8-12. They were swept in a 4-game set versus the A's and a 3-game set versus the Red Sox. When facing teams that have a greater than 500 record, they're only 31-28. And when playing away from home, they're 29-27. Astros run differential this season is plus 47. So they're not knocking it out of the park. And the Yankees definitely have an opportunity to come out against these guys. What do you feel, Jonathan, about our matchup with the Stros?
Well, obviously, you have to always. The benefit that we have is we're playing at home. So, Schlittler, I'm curious what Schlittler can do against the Astros. But Yankees have had a lot of trouble with hitting it with runners on base. So they need to. I don't know why the Yankees tend to always not go for the hit, and always try for the long ball too much, in my opinion. Guys, especially like Anthony Volpe, he's not a 25 or 30 home run hitter. He needs to learn how to make contact and just get the base hits. He always says he idolized Jeter. How did Jeter make his career? He got base hits.
And solid fielding.
And solid fielding, yes. And Volpe needs to either calm his mind or Look, I don't know. A big problem is that the Yankees have put a lot of faith in Anthony Volpe. They traded a hell of a lot of talent on the infield, especially to in the last series, Josh Smith, who could have been our third baseman, we traded him for Gallo and we got nothing for it. So we traded a lot of infielders.
Without a doubt. And Ezekiel Duran in the Texas series, he's hitting in the
average, not home runs. I think that's Volpe's. That should be Volpe's main goal. Just get on base, get on a high average. Don't worry about hitting 30 home runs. Focus on hitting 20 to 25, maybe. Don't worry about the home runs. The home runs will come when they come. And he has to focus on stealing bases, which he doesn't. Not often enough, in my opinion. And I think that's a mistake. When you have your fast guys not even attempting to steal a base, it gives the pitcher less to think about when there's base runners on base, because they realize they don't have to think about throwing over the first or being concerned you're going to steal a base, because you're not doing it anyway.
Well, I will tell you, first of all, welcome Sean to the stream and D-Train. Appreciate y'all being here. And for those of you that are in the stream, if you haven't, please hit the like button and share the channel out. And if you're not a member of the Yankees The Ugly Truth family, please consider subscribing. Be most appreciated.
Well,
go ahead.
Maybe that's a good question for you as a former pitcher. If you never had to worry about the base runner on first trying to steal a base, how much different would you pitch the batter?
Well, for me, first of all, I was a left-handed pitcher, and I had an excellent move to first base, so I was never worried if there was a runner at first.
Like me.
It didn't change my pitching approach whatsoever. Plus, I had a moderate leg kick, and I delivered the ball to the plate quickly. I didn't have an elongated stride, and I had plenty of velocity on my pitches. In college, my catcher was Joe Carter, who had a freaking howitzer for an arm. When he went to the Indians, they converted him from a catcher to an outfielder. But very strong arm, and like I said, with a good catcher, I didn't have a lot to worry about with base runners.
Is that the same Joe Carter that won the World Series?
That's exactly the same Joe Carter. He was drafted by the Indians and ended up in Toronto when he's the only player to hit a home run to end the game on the seventh game, final at bat in baseball history.
I never knew he was a catcher.
Yep. That's how he started out. With regard to our base runners, we've added people that really have true speed components. Well, Jake, I'm not feeling that way. I'm actually feeling pretty good about us coming up against the Astros. And if you don't recall, last year we beat them 5 out of 6 attempts.
Well, last year we had a much different team, and also we had a fully healthy Cole and Hill.
We didn't have a healthy Cole to begin with.
Last year,
we played them in the first series of the game of the season.
You were talking about last year, though.
That's right. We played them. We haven't played them yet this year. We played them in the first series in 2024, and we swept them in Houston. Then they came to the Bronx, and Cole was back for the second attempt. I'm not sure that he pitched against them, but we took 2 out of 3 in the second series.
Well, that's what happened when they don't have help from garbage bins.
So it was the first year that we'd actually done anything against the Astros since their continuous butt kicking of us in the in the postseason.
2017.
Yeah.
And what do you think? What do you think of the way Boone handled the bullpen? Because I haven't liked it before. Before Bednar was the closer, I never really liked the way Boone handled the bullpen. What's your opinion?
Well, the bullpen has been a funny animal this year because we've had so many injuries out of it. The long and short, our starters aren't giving up long enough outings.
Yeah.
Over the last 2 weeks, I don't think we've seen a starter, with the exception of Warren, that's gone through 6. So hence we're forced to stress the bullpen. The other thing is, until we got De Los Santos back, we didn't truly have a long relief arm coming out of the bullpen. In yesterday's game, it definitely seemed that Boone had set up a precedence for where pitchers were going to line up at. Most thankful Bednar being the closer.
Yeah.
And yesterday, I thought we were going to see a Booneism, where we had De Los Santos come in, get the 1 out, and I was figuring that they were going to pull him and keep him out of the game or put somebody else in the game. And fortunately, he kept De Los Santos in for that second inning, and he handled business.
Booneism. Almost like everybody who has something puts an ism by their name to describe how they are.
And D-Train says the problem is that our pitchers don't give us. I'm assuming you're thinking length.
I think that's an unfinished question statement.
I do too.
Maybe he entered before he finished. Don't give us more than 5, so the bullpen is taxed. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be nice if the starting pitcher went at least 6 innings in every start.
I mean, honestly, the model should be starting pitchers get 18 outs.
That is 6 innings.
I'd like to see 21, but I'll live with 18. Anything under 18 is unacceptable. And make no mistake, in my opinion, umpires are squeezing the strike zone.
Yeah.
And they're forcing our guys to pitch more.
Yeah, the umpires have been terrible all year, and I think especially it's time for the ABS system, automatic balls and strikes. The more I see these umpires, the more I want the automatic balls and strikes. I'm tired, especially around when Judge is up, because he over the last 7 years since he's been in the league, 8 years, he's probably had more low strikes called him than anybody else in baseball.
All right. Jake says, I'm also under the impression that Fried is still hurt. He looked bad in all his starts after the news came out about his blister. Well, the first start he got pulled because he had a blister on his index finger. The next start that he had a blister on his pinky.
So why don't they just rest him for a week? Make sure his hands and his blisters are gone.
Well, the long and short, from a pitching perspective, you got to work through blisters. You got to form a callus on your fingers. Giving you rest doesn't do that.
How do you deal with blisters on your fingers from the pitcher?
Well, for me, the entire time that I pitched, I only had one blister. And they have this stuff that's like a fake skin. that you paint over it. It hurts like hell, but it helps heal it and form a callus with it.
Mm.
Yeah, here's a comment from D-Train. Bednar got squeezed badly yesterday by the umps.
Yeah.
Yep. There were two definite pitches that Seager should have been run up on that were seriously in the strike zone. I don't know how the hell he missed both of those calls, but then Seager ends up hitting that damn single. But
Well,
Bednar showed fortitude. He worked through it. As a matter of fact, one of the pitches he was walking off the mound when he got called a ball.
Well, baseball said they wanted to speed up the game. Part of speeding up the game is calling strikes when there are strikes.
Well, like I said, umpires behind the dish have been freaking horrible this year.
Well,
And
that's why they need to have accountability with ABS.
and
They can still do the
Manfred,
job, except maybe they need a challenge system of some type.
I think that Manfred has an initiative to have ABS part of the 2026 season.
Well, that's one thing I agree with him about, because these umpires, by not being more accurate, these umpires basically did this to themselves. All they had to do is call the balls and strikes, not give your own, make your own strike zone. If the ball is over the plate and the batter didn't swing at it, it's a strike. That's it. If it's near the plate, it might be a strike. So you have to do the best and call it a strike, just on the corner. But there needs to be a challenge system, just like every other sport has a challenge system. Baseball will not be destroyed if they start challenging balls and strikes, no matter how there will be, I don't know how you say it. There will be people old school style saying this will destroy the game. It's not. It's going to make the game a little bit better because you at least have a more fair system. You can't always rely on the umpire.
Well, I don't know if you know it. During the first game of the Marlins series, the umpire behind the dish missed 29 pitches. It was the worst call game all season long.
Well, that's probably why I went to, what was it, 14-13?
Yep.
So, look, that's the type of game that you need an ABS system. That game should have never been a 14-13 game.
Ken, how do you feel about the woman umpire being in one game this weekend? I have no bones to pick with it. If she can do a better job than the clowns that are there, bring her on. Hell, bring more women on.
Well, I don't have trouble with women in baseball. If they can do a better job than the men, do it. Change them all. Make all women umpires. If they can be more fair and accurate, I don't care who done the umpire.
I just want people that call what pitches that are actually there.
Exactly. It doesn't
I mean,
matter. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman.
if you're not at 95% or better, then you stink.
Yeah, then you shouldn't be a home plate umpire. If you're not at 95%, you should not be calling balls and strikes. That should be the rule for every umpire.
Without a doubt.
NFE.
Hey, NFE, how you doing?
The link is in the chat if you want to join.
The long and short, if you can get the job done and you're qualified, bring it on.
Yeah.
Come up and umpire.
Yeah, look. I remember growing up seeing the League of Their Own movie. That's a good movie, and If women can do a good, if a better job than a man can, I have no problem.
One of the things that I was looking over was the strength of schedule. Do you realize that the Yankees have the fourth weakest schedule in the AL East, or in the AL actually?
No, but
We're,
yeah, they're playing some
we've
pretty
got
nice teams.
we're playing 7 against the White Sox, 3 against the Nationals, 7 against the Orioles, 6 against the Twins, and 2 against the Tampa Bay Rays, and 3 against the Cardinals.
Well, we
The
got
hard part.
six against Boston and the Astros also.
Okay, well, coming back to that one. The tough part of our schedule is we have 3 against the Blue Jays, 3 against the the Tigers, 6 against the Astros, and 7 against the Red Sox.
Well, if the Yankees are going to get back into the AL East, they need. There's a big series coming up from the 19th to the 24th. There are 6 games against Tampa and Boston. If the Yankees can win 5 of those games, they are in a good shot in the AL East.
Well, listen to Toronto's. Toronto has the third hardest schedule. They've got 3 against the Brewers, 3 against the Cubs, 3 against the Dodgers, 3 against the Astros, 3 against the Red Sox, 3 against us. The weak portion of their schedule, according to Tankathon, is 3 against the Pirates, 3 against the Orioles, 3 against the Twins, 3 against the Royals. They've got. I would put this team into the tougher side. They've got 3 against the Marlins in Miami. They've been playing the best baseball since the All-Star break, actually since June the 1st. And they've got 7 against Tampa. The other one that I had my eye on, the Red Sox have the 7th hardest schedule. They're locked up with 3 against the Blue Jays, 3 against the Tigers, 3 against the Padres, 3 against the Astros, 3 against the Guardians, and 7 against the Yankees.
Yeah.
And another one that I wouldn't check out, because they seem to be kicking the crap out of plus 500 teams, is the Oakland A's, and they've got 6 games against them.
Yeah. What the Red Sox did yesterday was very smart.
Let me know what they do.
They extended Roman Anthony for 8 years.
At the 130 million.
I think it was 230 million. But maybe it was 130. I don't remember. It was 130 with incentives. So
Right.
that's a very smart contract.
Well, he's been doing all right since he broke out of his mini slump to begin his major league career. He's definitely got the defensive aspect down. So it's a smart sign for him. People ask why the Yankees don't sign any of our young guys. Well, which ones have proved that they actually can competitively play at the major league level?
Well, the only one out of all the young guys out that would have been beneficial for the Yankees is after his rookie year. If they re-signed Judge to a 10-year, $230 million contract, similar to what Robin Anthony got after his rookie year, they would have looked like the Yankees would have been very happy with that.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But the Yankees got burnt extending Luis Severino.
You know, but that was also only 4 years. So
And he pitched for us 1 out of those 4.
yeah,
We got burnt on that one. We did contract extensions on Aaron Hicks, got burnt on that one. That ridiculous contract that we signed with Jacoby Ellsbury burnt us.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know why. Why did they need? This is what I don't understand. Why did they need Jacoby Ellsbury and Carlos Beltran in the same offseason? What's the reason to have to sign 2 outfielders?
that was a reactionary move to Cano being parted off to Seattle.
Well, that's stupid. If you
Well,
always do reactionary moves, you're always going to get screwed at the end of the day. You have to be
well,
smart.
a lot of people say we had reactionary moves after we lost Juan Soto this past offseason.
Well, we at least didn't sign outfielders. We didn't. I'm not against signing players. The mistake was we signed 2 players that played the same position. If after Cano left, we signed an outfielder and a pitcher, both to 5 and 7 year deals, then it would have made sense to have a more diverse money pile. When you sign 2 free agents that play the same position, that makes no sense.
I agree. I think it was a completely reactionary move, and we wasted a lot of money and didn't get bang for our buck. Didn't we bring in McCann at the same time?
Yes, McCann also. Those are the 3. Those were the 3 big moves we made at that offseason, 2014.
Yeah, we spent like $500 million between the 3 of them.
Not quite. Jacoby Ellsbury was what was it say, 157 million, I believe.
I thought his was 178.
I thought it was less than that, but Beltran, I believe, was 39 million, and McCann was around 52 million. So we spent over 200 million on 3 players, and we got nothing out of it.
Let's see, we got to trade McCann to the Astros. Ellsbury never played with us, and we traded Beltran to Mets, I think.
No, not the Mets.
No, it wasn't the Mets because we didn't deal with the Mets then.
We traded him to I don't even remember. Maybe I don't remember where we traded.
Beltran to Texas.
Texas for Dylan Tate, yeah.
And didn't we also moved Miller too in that same season, and Chapman.
Yeah, we traded both of them.
That's how we ended up with Torres and Frazier.
Yeah, and Frazier didn't turn out to be anything special because he kept getting hurt nonstop. The one trade that hurt a lot was the last trade we made with Texas for Gallo. That trade hurt a lot because of the players we traded.
Well, we set Josh Smith there, who kicked us in the ding ding this whole series.
Duran.
We sent Ezekiel Duran, who really kicked us in the ding ding this entire series.
Otto, who hadn't done very much.
And then we had former Yankee Kyle Higashioka, who didn't treat us very well either.
He wasn't traded though.
No, he left. He was traded, but it was to the Padres.
Yeah.
And then he left in free agency and signed with the Rangers.
So the Rangers have 4 different former Yankees.
Yep.
And the Yankees just have to make smarter trades because everybody that they trade seems, in the last 2 years especially, everybody they trade comes back and hurts the Yankees in some way.
Everybody that we trade or lose in the Rule 5 draft comes back and hurts us.
Yes.
I mean, you look at all the ex-Yankees that are on Boston.
Yeah. Well, the one thing we did get, we traded the Narvaez, but we did get the pitcher who's pitching great. So that was, if he can come up to the major leagues and be a good starting pitcher, that guy Cruz, I believe his name is.
Yep.
And I think that could be a fair deal, but we won't know until he makes the major leagues debut.
All right. Here's my question for you. We have Fernando Cruz coming back. We have Ryan Yarbrough coming back. Who's out?
Who's out of the 40-man roster?
And possibly Jake Bird too, who pitched a good game yesterday at Scranton.
Well, I would first put Johnny Loizaga on the 60-day IL. That I think is the first move.
That gets one of them to the 40. Doesn't get any of them up to the 26 man.
No, the 26 man. The only people you have, they're already on. These guys are already on the 40-man roster. So the only
Jake says he thinks that Hedrick and De Los Santos are going to get sent down.
Yes, I think Hendrick would probably be the first one to get sent down. I mean, he's been good, but not great. So
Yeah, but you have him as your only other left-handed option, and they are killing Tim Hill.
Yeah, so that's a problem.
I mean, personally, I think they're going to cut ties with Devin Williams.
I also think they can drop Ian Hamilton.
But he's not on the 26, so that doesn't get any of the three up there.
Devin, you really think they're going to drop Devin Williams?
He hasn't been successful for most of the season for us.
Well, here's the only question about that. Why didn't they try to trade Williams in the trade deadline?
He'd been pitching well. They thought they were the three-headed monster to the strength that we had. Thanks, Real Bill. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you being here, brother.
He's been pitching well, but he also has been very shaky. Just because you have a good month doesn't mean you can continue it. So if I would be able to trade Williams, maybe get back either another pitcher or get back what else do they need? They got the third baseman. They got
honestly, I've been calling for a catcher for a year and a half.
Catcher, yeah. The problem is they've traded in the last 2 years. They've traded at least 5 catchers.
There was a stat that the Yankees have populated 8 major league teams with catchers.
Yes, I heard that more. Almost, they said about 30% of the catchers in the major leagues were once former Yankees.
That's a lot of catchers.
Yeah, I was very unhappy with that last trade that the Yankees made with that catcher, because I think that the catcher that they traded in the trade deadline, his name was Flores. I think Flores is probably going to be the best catcher out of all of them.
I actually was calling to have Flores brought up to the major league roster.
Yes, I would have traded Wells and brought up Flores. That's what I would have done. I would have said I would have traded Wells, and I would have brought up Flores. That that's that's that would have been the best move because
Real Bill, I would DFA Williams and bring up a catcher.
no, they wouldn't do that because if you DFA a pitcher, you have to bring up a pitcher.
And Bill, what catcher would we bring up? We traded all of our AAA catchers away. We've got JC Escara, who's down there manning the helm.
We traded all of our catchers. The only good thing about the catchers is I think they're linked to the top catcher in January, and I think that's why they believe they're going to sign him. So that's the only reason why I think they traded so many catchers, because they will immediately in January re-sign the top catching prospect in the international market. That's the only thing that makes sense. And yes, that guy who will be signed in January probably won't be ready for at least 3 or 4 years, but at least we have some more depth than we used to have before the trade, before last week.
Stephen B says, I think Williams doesn't get the short stick. I think someone gets demoted. They don't want Williams to get mojo with some other team in the playoffs. And let's see. JC is still here. You're right. JC is here.
Yeah, I wouldn't. As I said, I wouldn't have mind changing JC and keeping Flores. Out of all the players we traded, there are only 2 that I think will be very good in the long term. Flores is one, and I think what's the pitcher that we traded, De La Rosa. I think De La Rosa is going to be a good pitcher. Possibly also Perez, but I don't know, and I didn't know enough about him before we traded him. But those are the 2 names I would look for in the near future: is Flores and De La Rosa. De La Rosa is a lefty pitcher, and he was young. He is young.
Stephen B. Merck says he's blocked on the stream. There is only one person blocked on my stream. And if Merck's name is Aaron Woodward, and I don't think it is, he's the person that's blocked.
Well, maybe Merck needs to restart his computer. I don't know. Tell Merck to log out of YouTube and log back in.
And like I said, I've only got one person banned, and that guy came in.
Merck is in the chat now.
He's in the chat.
Yeah, I see him now. He wasn't blocked. He's right there.
Okay. Like I said, the only guy that I got blocked was I blocked him, and he came in with racial slurs against people.
Well, that's not a guy you want in your live stream.
Nope.
If you're not here to talk about baseball, you can go somewhere else. Why not?
No, I don't want him in any of my streams. You can come in and act like a jerk. You're out of here.
No, live streaming is all about respect and listening. And if you want to join, click on the StreamYard and join us. This is the open panel. Nobody else comes up.
Yep, Stephen B., that is absolutely correct. I didn't have any moderators at that point, and that's when I added a boatload of.
Yeah, now you have what, 5 moderators?
At least. I think I have like 7 or 8.
7.
Oh, I
Anyway,
think aren't you a moderator?
I am a moderator.
Okay.
I do. I always am in the chat, even though I sometimes I don't respond. But I always type a message, and if I can't respond, I'm still looking in the chat and doing other things.
Billy Branch, welcome to the stream. I'm sorry I missed your message. Scrolling a bit. No worries about being late to the party. It happens. How does everyone feel about the rest of the season? I'm actually optimistic.
Yeah, I think it will be better now that they know Bednar. They've seen Bednar close the game. They should leave Bednar at the end of the game. And when Weaver comes back, I think he should be the 8th inning guy.
I mean, God's honest truth, I was so happy to see us improve our bench because our bench has been horrible for a long time.
Yes.
I was glad to see that. They brought in players who could hit left-handed pitching, which we seem to face a lot of. I'm okay with the bench now.
And
bullpen, I like the acquisitions that we made. I think that it's going to roll us back into the monster that we were, and that
and
eventually, I think that Boone has now set up a precedence on where pitchers are going to pitch.
and next year our bench will be even better because we'll have Cabrera back, unless he comes back in September, which I don't think so.
Hey, Billy, how you doing?
All right, guys, how y'all doing this evening?
Another Ducky Day in Paradise.
Yeah. So
What do you think of Cabrera next year being on the bench, and how did that improve?
I think he's a he's kind of an unsung hero of this thing. I think I'd love to have him back, to be honest with you. I think he's a good guy to have. Now watch, they'll bring him back and he'll go the way of Oswaldo Peraza. But
Well, I think if Cabrera never got injured, I think he would have been our starting third baseman, and he was having a good season before he got injured.
Yes, he was.
He's a solid fielder, which is what we need, and he can occasionally hit 250, 260. Look,
Sure.
I'm not asking for an all-star in every position. I'm asking for a good, solid glove in every position. And if they can hit 250 to 270, that's a bonus.
Sure.
Let's see. A comment from Jake. I think the problem mainly is pitchers don't give length. That's the recipe for disaster in burning out the bullpen. I completely agree about that. Like I said,
yeah,
we should see no less than 18 outs out of our starters. And,
amen, brother. Amen.
And we're lucky to be 15.
If our starters went 18 innings on average, I think this team will be much better. The problem is the other team recently has been working our pitchers to the point where they hit 100 pitches in the 4th inning.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
You can eat that.
Is that an issue just with the Yankees, or is that just an issue with starting pitching in general? Are the Yankees the only one who are having pitchers? They feel good about our pitchers when they make it to the 5th inning or beyond, or is that something that is all over? I guess that's my question.
I'm not familiar how other teams are dealing with it.
That's my problem too. I don't know.
That's
I watch a lot of baseball and a lot of teams, and that is a Yankee issue.
Well, see, that's okay. That's a problem to me.
It is a problem. Welcome, NFE. How you doing?
What's going on there, fellas? How we doing?
So what's your position on the Yankee bench?
The Yankee bench?
You know what? The conversation we've been having for the last 10 minutes.
Well, I had to leave for a minute, but what was at least give me like the gist of it, and I can tell you what my thoughts are on the bench.
You
I
like
mean,
the improvements to the bench.
okay.
How do you feel they're going to impact the team? We've essentially had no bench for 2.5, 3 years.
I mean, I like the pieces that they got on the bench. I mean, it looks a lot better than what they had prior. I mean, I know some folks were complaining about who they traded for. You know, I know initially, you know, when they traded for Caballero and Rosario, there was a lot of criticism about Rosario's defense, but his bat was the main thing. And for me, it's just I'd rather have Rosario than Vivas and Peraza. That's a big plus for me. I think he's an instant upgrade on that bench. And he hits lefties well. That's the other thing. That's been a big struggle for Yankees bats was hitting lefties. And they were so righty heavy, or no, excuse me, lefty heavy in the lineup that the righties hardly existed in the Yankees lineup. So they couldn't hit lefties to save their life. So, you know, that's where guys like Rosario are going to come in handy. You know, I like Rosario. I think
Let's go Yankees.
let's go Yankees.
There we go.
Our grandkids are raised right.
There you go.
Yeah, so you know, Rosario was an upgrade to that bench. So was Austin Slater. You know, I mean, granted he got hurt, unfortunately. You know, these things happen, but you know, Slater would also be an upgrade too because he hits lefties well. So, and you also got Caballero, so you have some depth to the bench now. You know, you have more options. There's a little bit more speed. There's guys that can hit lefties. So, you know, I don't have an issue with the Yankees bench whatsoever. They have much better options, and they should be able to. You know, Aaron Boone should be able to utilize these guys a lot better now. And you know, now you have one thing I will say though, and I know he's gonna get plenty. He'll get a lot of playing time now, but and he'll still be a bench piece. But Ben Rice needs to catch more at the plate.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about his move that he made when the ball went over the head and the runner went to third? He misplayed the ball in the outfield a couple of games ago.
Who's that?
Wasn't that from Caballero?
Well, okay. I mean,
No,
it's a one-off thing, though. I mean, that game, it was just like everybody made mistakes in that game. It was just one of those. It was just one of those things. But you can't base something off of one game. You got to let.
And God's honest truth, Caballero is primarily an infielder.
Right.
Why they didn't put Slater in the outfield is beyond me. Slater's a right fielder.
I don't understand that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
these are the decisions that Boone makes throughout the year that have me scratching my head. Why is that the move? Why do you put an infielder to play the outfield when you have an outfielder on your bench?
Well, and Rosario could have very easily gone in because he is also an outfielder / infielder. The only position on the field that he doesn't have a negative defensive WAR is outfield in right field. And honestly, the Caballero instance, the kid was excited, not playing a position that he's used to, and that damn AstroTurf is fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that game was just a one-off thing. I mean, you can't base a player's performance off of one game.
No.
I hated. Yeah, that's just not right. I mean, you gotta let these guys settle in with a new team. They've only been with the Yankees for not even a week yet. So, you know, you got
let's see. Boone employed all 3 bullpen guys. The catchers had no familiarity with these guys at all. As a matter of fact, when you looked at Wells was constantly looking at his crib board or his wrist board to figure out what pitches these guys actually had in their repertoire. Yeah. And when Wells was setting up, he set up dead center of the plate.
Yeah.
So why have put them in the game so quickly without the catcher being familiar with them?
Because the arms have already been freaking worn out already with the arms that the Yankees already have. So these guys are, you know, fresh. I mean, granted, Bird's been overly used by the Rockies. That guy
Bird-
pitched before he came to
Bird-
the Yankees. He pitched 53 innings in 45 games. That's a lot of that's a lot of games, a lot of innings for a reliever.
Bird was overused. Bednar had pitched 31 pitches the day before. Why either one of them would have brought in is beyond me.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, when players transition to another team, there has to be an adjustment period. I mean, you've got Jake Bird, who has been in Colorado his whole career. He is throwing breaking pitches that don't really break in Colorado. The altitude cuts down the break on his pitches. Well, now he's pitching in Miami where they don't have that problem. That's why his stuff was taken off and completely off the plate. He has to have time to figure out how to throw away from Colorado.
Right. Yeah.
Is it a good thing he got sent down? Probably, so he could figure some of this crap out.
Yeah. I mean, these guys got traded to a new team, and it's like they haven't had much of they haven't adjusted yet. They got to get familiar with how, in this case with the pitchers, how Matt Blake likes to work, because every pitching coach is going to be different depending on what team you're going to go to. So that Matt Blake Matt Blake hasn't really been given a lot of time to work with these guys and see what they're about. Mike Harkey, bullpen coach, he hasn't been given a lot of time. So they're working through it. You just got to give it. It's just you can't really go off of 2 or 3 games. You need a much bigger sample size than that. So
now, also, if you look in the minor leagues, they have TJ Bumfield. He's basically ready to be called up to play first base. Do they give him an opportunity this year, or wait till next year?
He's not going to get an opportunity this year.
Not getting an opportunity this year because they're going to bring up. You get two positions at the September call-ups. Spencer Jones is going to be one of those two, and the other one is most likely to be one of the arms that we were talking about from the bullpen that's down there, whether it be Bird.
I hope that they protect the Rumfield from the Rule 5 draft. He could be a future first baseman for a long time.
I think they're going to go a different direction at first base, honestly.
Probably, but I still would protect Rumfield because he's going to be picked up in the Rule 5 draft, no question.
Yes. A little bit. You going to say, let's go Yankees?
Let's go Yankees.
Let's
All
go.
right.
All right, buddy.
Give me my kiss. All right.
Let's go Yankees.
He just did it. Bedtime, little man.
Now, I'm trying not to, I'm trying to talk myself off the ledge. I guess the thing that has me worried was, to me, it started last year in the playoffs. The Yankees made it to the World Series. Good deal. A lot of teams killed to get there, and the Yankees got there. I'm not trying to be all Michael Kay or anything like that, but I worry that they didn't really play their best baseball in the playoffs, and they were able to get by with that until they got to the Dodgers, and the Dodgers just smoked them. And so we're still having these issues with defense. We're still having issues with base running errors. This kind of goes back to me it was not last offseason, but the offseason before that, I believe, is when the organization said that they were going to be audited, and they were auditing like their analytics department and anything. And I mean, I don't, at this point, and like I said, this is a really bad stretch of games for them, but they really haven't played very well since before the All-Star break. So, I mean, is this my worry is that this is kind of indicative of how the organization is run. And it's like the Yankees, with all of their financial resources, have this analytics department that doesn't seem to be able to do things as well as other teams' analytics departments. So I don't know if I'm just panicking or what, but I'm not a Fire Boone guy. I am not a Fire Cashman guy. My fear is that it wouldn't matter who they had in those positions. It seems like the analytics department or some other entity is running things in
Maybe
that
they need
team.
to fire Fishman then.
Yeah. So I don't know, guys. I'm just
Well,
I
I am not on the ledge. I think this team has the potential to make it back to the World Series. A few things need to happen, though. Starters are the first and foremost issue in my mind's eye.
Yep.
They are not, they're killing the bullpen themselves. We have a new stock of bullpen arms that can possibly mitigate that. Volpe is, if you look at the team's defensive metrics as an overall, they're the seventh best defensive team in baseball.
Hmm.
And the reason that they're not in the top three is because the large number of errors that Anthony Volpe has contributed to that list.
think the Yankees will move on from Volpe at some point.
I think that
That's
they
that's an
drafted.
open-ended question. I'm sorry. I should.
I think that they drafted 6 shortstops, have another shortstop that is a perennial replacement, and supposed to sign the number 1 international free agent player who's a shortstop.
I think this past draft has shown the Yankees shown they're going to move past Volpe at some point unless he begins to drastically improve his game. Unless he can hit 270 with solid, consistent defense, the Yankees will move on when they have a replacement ready.
I think that Anthony Volpe is the future second baseman for the Yankees.
Maybe.
Wow.
He
Where's that
also
put Jazz?
Jazz is a free agent after next
Okay.
year.
We've got 1 year left
Puts
on
him
him.
Puts him in LA basically.
Yeah, I
Well-
don't see a future with Jazz
No.
after he's done playing, after his contract is up.
After next year, there's no room for Jazz. The one thing the Yankees have, they have a lot of infielders in their system. I'm sure one of them can take over full time at second base eventually.
You know who's another name that they still have in their farm, and he hasn't been traded, and the Yankees are still have him, is Roderick Arias.
Yeah,
I
but
think his time is limited.
You think his time is limited?
think he hasn't shown any improvement in that.
I'm not. Yeah, no, I understand that, but I'm surprised they haven't moved him.
I was surprised he didn't get traded at the deadline. I was expecting him to be traded.
Mhm.
He was the one name I was expecting to be traded.
Well, hell, I expected Ben Rice to be traded and was
Yeah.
surprised that he didn't get booed.
Rice as well, but I thought Arias would have been he was the top guy on my list to get traded, and I was surprised he wasn't.
Well, my list had Everson Pereira near the top. I
Yeah.
knew that we held on to Peraza as a trade piece.
And they got back a pitcher and IFA money back from the Angels. Yeah,
I didn't even remember the entire. The pitcher was a player to be named later. I don't even know the name of the pitcher player.
Anyone read the statement that Peraza wrote, basically thanking the Yankees for everything?
I read it when it came out, but I do not remember it.
I mean, I don't remember specifics, but I thought it was a pretty classy move on his part to do that.
I think I saw it live on Yes. They showed
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of cool.
So, all in all, I'm fine with the Yankees. We ran into a buzzsaw coming out of the trade deadline. I think that the Astros are not playing top caliber ball, and I feel that this may be the jumping point for us to get our footing and head back in the right direction.
Needs to happen. Yeah. If they're going to make a run, then it needs to happen like now. Like, and hopefully they can. It's just, plus the fact is I live in Texas, and everybody I know who suddenly is a baseball fan now is reminding me that the Rangers took 2 or 3 from the Yankees when they were in town.
I think Grace feels the same way. Grace on Uptown Sports. We were talking about that earlier today.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm just been kind of dismayed ever since the All-Star break. And you guys are making good points. I mean, you can't expect a player if a player gets traded to any team, it's going to be an adjustment period, especially if they get traded to a team like the Yankees, where there are a million eyes on them,
Well,
no matter what. That's got to take an adjustment period.
Just think, these guys are going to see the Bronx for the first time this weekend.
Yeah. So.
Well, it takes a special player to really come from another team midseason to the Bronx and have a smooth adjustment period.
Well, Ryan McMahon seemed to do it, but he's one of very few.
Maybe they can go to Monument Park, touch some monuments, touch the Babe Ruth monument, and get some Yankee energy from the monument.
Yeah.
Well, I think that McMahon has had a couple of Yankee moments already. I think he's going to be a very good asset for us. Thank God we actually have a real third baseman we haven't had since Gio Urshela.
Yeah. And I never liked the trading of Gio Urshela.
Yeah, but that was a contract dump. We had to eat freaking Josh dumbass Donaldson to get Sanchez off the roster.
Well, I don't care. If we did, it would have been better if we disliked Sanchez so much. We should have just dropped him. It wouldn't have cost $20 million.
But Sanchez was one of those players that they invested in. They invested a lot in Sanchez.
Not all investments are good. Some investments, you can invest in a player for 5 years and it ends up being a crapshoot and a dumpster. I mean, not all investments are going to grow to be prosperous. Sometimes you have to cut your losses.
But the Yankees don't do that. That's something that they
should, especially with a guy making less than $10 million instead of trading him for a guy who makes $25 million.
I'm amazed they DFA'd DJ LeMahieu.
Well, maybe they learned from Sanchez that sometimes you have to cut your losses when it's needed.
Well, DJ was non-tradable. 5 and 10 guy with the Yankees, and he had a full no trade contract. So they couldn't move him unless he wanted to.
And one of the things I found interesting about that is last year they were talking about showing DJ LeMahieu the door as well, and the rumor was that you had a lot of players come up and
Judge wanted him to stay.
Yeah, that didn't happen this year, and so maybe it was a case of, hey man, we tried, but we really can't argue on your behalf right now.
They gave him an extra year to prove that he can still play. The Yankees needed a third baseman. DJ was right there. The position was right there for DJ to take and run away with it, and he didn't.
He didn't want to play third base. That was the problem.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
If DJ said, yes, I want to play third base, I'll give it a chance, he probably would still be on the team, and we might have not traded for McMahon.
Yeah.
That's all on DJ LeMahieu. He basically cut his own career. He took the money, and now he doesn't have a job because of his choices.
Yeah, but he's got $13 million coming in his pocket next year, and he doesn't have to throw a ball.
He's crying all the way. He's crying all the way to the bank.
I know, but the question is, did he want to play baseball again, or did he just want to cry all the way to the bank? Either way, he's going to get paid.
Jake
I
says
just
Boone is always mismanaging the bullpen. Why would you put Duvall in when both Bednar and Bird got shelled in the Marlins game? Where's the
Maybe
feel for
he
the
wanted
game?
to
His
see what Duvall
decision.
could do. I don't know.
kind of goes back to my concern. How much say so does Boone really have in things? Is my question. Does he have a lot? Does he have very little?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think the manager should have more say than he actually does because he's the one making the decisions in real time. But in
On
I think he probably has a phone that connects him with someone else, and they tell him what to do.
well, Joe on NY Yankee Mania had a couple of interviews with major league ball players, and that question was asked, and the ball player, the major leaguer, former major leaguer, said that the manager doesn't have as much control as you think. There are analytics people in the front office that are pulling the strings.
Then what is the point of a manager?
A fall guy for everything that's jacked up.
Yeah,
Well,
that goes back to my thing. It's like, okay, well, last couple of years, I mean, if that's been the case ever since Boone has been here, and the analytics department has been running things. Granted, the Yankees made it to the World Series last year. I'm still smarting over that just because of the way the Yankees played in the World Series. That was
Well,
hard to stomach.
I,
But
I will tell you that World Series, by the time we got there, our bullpen was spent.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Clark Schmidt, I knew he wasn't going to hold up against the Dodgers. And he got out there and he pitched, 3 innings? Our starters only went like 4 1/3 innings the entire postseason. Pete Cole was the only exception.
They needed different pitchers on the roster.
I mean, I'm always pleasantly surprised when I read that a Yankee starter has gone beyond 5 innings, and into the 6th, and oh my God, even into the 7th. Oh my Lord,
The only one that's done that in the last 2 weeks is Will Warren.
Yeah, yeah. I like that guy.
And,
I think he's got
and
something.
I will tell you, if we didn't have injuries like we did in the rotation, Will Warren would be in the minor leagues still, developing. He's learning on the fly at the major league level,
Yeah.
and
He's got potential.
he's done a fantastic job. If you look at all rookies in the major leagues that are pitching, he leads them in strikeouts by over 30 strikeouts.
The biggest disappointment that I have this year is they can't even see anything from Chase Hampton because he's recovering from Tommy John.
Yeah.
If Chase
Well-
Hampton was available, he would also be in the major leagues.
Well, the Yankees got hit hard this year. We had 60% of our rotation on the shelf. That's why we ended up with Carrasco and Stroman leading the charge.
Yeah.
I mean, injuries affect every team. I mean, hell, look at the Dodgers. They've got so much money on the shelf right now, especially from the pitching aspect. But they're still getting it done.
Yeah. But the Dodgers, along with having a high payroll, they have one of the best farm systems in all of baseball.
Yeah.
Well, they may be ranked high. I wouldn't say that they have one of the best systems.
Well,
One of the proteges that came up was Outman. He got sent back down and has been down in the minor leagues for a significant time until there was an injury, and then he's been brought back up. He's not doing well.
I only know the minor leagues based on what the ratings say. So
Okay.
I don't scout them personally.
Well, I'm an all-around baseball fan, so I look at basically all the teams. I look at their farm systems. A lot of people were hollering about how low the Yankees were ranked. And
Did you see what Carlos Lagrange did today?
No.
Let me get his numbers up.
I'm kind of the same way. I kind of depend on guys like Ken.
Well, now
who can act.
that I'm fully retired, I have a lot more time to do things. Except when grandkids are involved, then they rotate my schedule.
Yeah, well, that's working two jobs and having a kid in college and doing all kinds of things. I don't get a lot of time to look over stat sheets and like I used to before my daughter came into the picture.
Well, my youngest son graduated from Old Dominion University in December as a civil engineer.
Oh,
And he
awesome.
he was the last of 4 that all have college degrees.
Cool.
Well, Lagrange was through the first 4 innings, he gave up only 1 run, and in the 5th inning, he gave up 3 more. 2 of them were earned. So 4 and a third, 3 earned runs, 4 runs, 2 hits, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts.
For me, Bill, I'm not a basher. I don't bash players. I don't bash the team. I look at if I see something that's garbage, I'm going to call it out. However, I don't do talking points. This whole Boone stinks. Goldschmidt has lost it. He can't hit anymore. Seems like he could hit over the last two games he's been in.
Well, we have to remember Goldschmidt is likely gone after the season. This is he's only a 1 year fill-in. So next year,
I was just gonna go ahead, Jonathan. Finish.
Yeah, next year I wouldn't be surprised if they re-sign Bellinger and put him at first base.
The thing about Goldschmidt, he wasn't signed for his bat; he was signed for his glove. So we got to. That's what we have to remember. The guys that the Yankees traded for, as far as positional players go, or signed, were for defensive purposes to improve their defense. So it wasn't even a thing of like Goldschmidt was signed for his bat. No, he was signed to play first base because they needed an upgrade at first base, and so far he has been. Sadly, I mean, he's been an upgrade over Anthony Rizzo, sadly, but his defense has saved the Yankees infield quite a bit. So he's been able to. He's been solid there at first base. So that's what we have to remember is that he was signed for defensive purposes because first base was the problem last season.
Last year, before Rizzo got injured with that hard tackle, basically, he was on a career year. He was batting over 300 with solid defense.
Well, once again, we're talking. I mean, that's why Rizzo wasn't signed back, unfortunately. So because first base was not a good. Yeah.
The fundamental shift for the Yankees was to eliminate the opponent's ability to score runs, i.e., the defense, and improve the rotation.
Right.
They accomplished their goals with the exception of bringing on a third baseman, and now that's fixed.
Yeah, a lefty first baseman, and I think a lefty first baseman next year will be Bellinger. I think Bellinger will be re-signed and play first base.
Assuming he opts out of his player option, which
he will
actually
opt out of his option.
Actually, Bellinger put a statement out that he wants to remain in New York and he'll sign for less money. He just wants to contribute to the Yankees.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned the Yankees.
God's honest truth.
Staying in New York in and of itself has kind of an ominous tone.
Well, he wants to follow in Dad's footsteps.
Yeah.
He has strived for his entire career to be a New York Yankee. He's here.
Here's another question then, with that statement, which I heard also. What do you think his contract will be when he resigns with the Yankees? What would you offer him?
I would have gone starting at a 5-year, $25 million AAV contract, and I would have bumped it to 27. He's making 22.5 right now. He's a 4-position Gold Glove player. His bat is tailor-made for Yankee Stadium. I don't know what more you could look for or ask for a player coming to play in the Bronx.
So that's about 5 years, 130 to 140 million.
Ballpark. And Jake, he put that statement out about 4 days ago.
Okay. Oh, I always like to hear that. I always like to hear players who want to stay with the Yankees.
And let's face it, he's a Scott Boras client. But remember, Boras
Oh,
works for
God.
him. If he tells Boras, I want to stay a Yankee, make it happen, Boras is either going to get on board or Bellinger's going to fire him.
Well, yeah, that's more or less what A-Rod did when he got extended. He basically said, "Get it done." So
But in regards to A-Rod's contract, I would have done an 8-year deal instead of a 10-year deal.
yeah,
God's honest truth, I wouldn't have extended him at all. I'd have
No,
let him walk.
I could see that point too, man.
Cashman didn't want to extend him. Cashman said immediately after, I want the 2 picks that came with A-Rod for being a type A player. At that time, that was the free agent to get you 2 draft picks and they changed it to the qualifying offer.
I mean, historically, look at baseball in general. Any player who signs a contract for over 10 years, how's it worked out for the team that signed him?
No, with the exception of Jeter.
With the exception. That's not the norm.
Yeah,
Look at
Yeah.
Look at Pujols' contract. Look at Cabrera's contract. Look at Fielder's contract. And I'll tell you what, the Blue Jays are insane for the contract that they offered Guerrero Jr.
They gave him what, 13, 14 years?
Yeah. $500 million contract. And they are going to be eating the bone on the back half of that contract. I ain't even saying the back
What
few
about
years.
Otani? Otani got 700 for 10 years.
Yeah, but in honesty, you're looking at Otani's contract. His contract is $2 million. He's making $2 million a season, and they deferred $68 million of it, and it's not going to be full 10 years after he retires.
Yeah.
So he's essentially set up generational money unless they actually investigate him and find out that he was gambling. Then he's screwed.
don't get me started.
Well, I think they want regardless. I think they wanted to protect Otani. So even if he wasn't involved, they would have found a way to.
Well, gambling has been a pinnacle against the norm for baseball since the Black Sox.
Black Sox, 1919.
Exactly. But now every broadcast that you see, they have gambling things with the pick your parlay. Is Judge going to get hits? Is Rodon going to have strikeouts?
So do you think that needs to be changed in terms of the CBA?
If you think it's bad, why are you advertising it?
Well, and if you're advertising it, why isn't Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame? If you're making money off of gambling, advertising.
He will have his opportunity for the Hall of Fame here in January.
I think he should get in. It's past time. They already waited until he died. They didn't give him even the honor of getting in while he was alive.
Well, I mean, kind of back to what Ken was saying about Otani. I kind of see the same thing. I think baseball more or less did the same thing with Mark McGwire. Initially, they did when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were chasing Maris's record. There were. It's interesting how the worm has turned on that, because I can remember a reporter noticed that there was creatine in McGuire's locker and asked him about it, and that particular reporter got like shunned by everybody. And so at that time, Bud Selig and baseball was kind of looking the other way when it came to that. Then all of a sudden they weren't looking the other way. So taking that into consideration, it's totally feasible to me that baseball is protecting Otani.
So if that's the case, they should let Clemens also into the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, well,
Well,
especially considering that Clemens never got found guilty in a court of law behind it.
Yeah.
You know?
He went to trial 3 times, was not found guilty. He had no positive piss tests.
So
The-
why isn't Clemens in the Hall of Fame also?
Probably
Well,
because
the
he
thing
pissed
is-
off too many sports writers through his career.
Well, that's one of the things that you have to remember is the Baseball Writers Association holds the key to the hall for the initial entry people.
Well, then
People who-
they have to stop being soft crybabies and just let these guys into the Hall of Fame.
Well, in my personal opinion, I dropped a video near the beginning of the season. There are players in the Hall of Fame now that use steroids.
I'm sure they
The
are.
latest, David Ortiz. David Ortiz got popped. He was on the list. They had
In the
him
Mitchell
dead.
report. No.
He was very friendly to the writers.
Exactly. Mike
Yeah.
Piazza, another one.
Yeah. Well, Barry Bonds, I mean, he arguably the greatest hitter. What's tragic about Barry Bonds is he was actually a true 5-tool player before he got obsessed with hitting home runs. And he won't get in the Hall because he was such an asshole to so many people, not just baseball writers. So
Well,
I
if Bonds never did any drugs and wasn't such an asshole like you said, he probably would have ended close to 600 home runs with
Mhm.
between 600 to 800 stolen bases.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
The simple fact of life, people that are taking steroids or whatnot, it enhances their strength. It does not improve their hand-eye coordination. Bonds had those skills to hit the damn home runs before. Were his numbers inflated a bit because of the steroids? Most definitely.
Sure.
But
Sure.
the innate skills he had were there.
Yeah.
Hell, that little runt when he was in Pittsburgh was a machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
NFE, no comments, no thoughts.
He's just kind of sitting back and watching this go, man.
I'm just listening.
Yeah.
I'm just
I
listening.
probably need to jump off. I've got things happening behind the scenes. So
Yeah, I probably got to
All right.
get it going here pretty soon myself. So
almost
hey, thanks for having me on, Kim. I appreciate it.
More than
y'all,
glad to have you.
yeah, y'all be safe and take care. Go
you
Yankees.
too, Billy. Yeah, see you later,
All
man.
All right, take care.
The last question I have for you is, if you were to guess when the roster expands next month, who are the players on the expanded roster? Who are the 2 players coming up?
I think Spencer Jones is going to be one of those players without a doubt. And I think the other one is going to be whichever bullpen arm is not brought up. Whether it be, I think Fernando Cruz will be the first one up. I think that Jake Bird may be brought up. Who was the third one that I had mentioned earlier? Ryan Yarbrough. Those are the 3 that I think are coming up, and one of those is coming up via the expanded roster.
They're going to have to make a roster spot for Jones.
When we expand the roster, no, they
You
don't.
expand the roster. No, they don't.
Jones is not on the 40-man.
Loizaga to the 60-day IL, done.
Done. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably it. Loizaga got to the 60. Loizaga's time with the Yankees is done. I don't think he's going to pitch another game.
Well, the Yankees have the option on him for another year, and
You really want to?
his performance this year hasn't warranted that extension.
No. Maybe
honestly,
if he wants to come back, maybe I'll sign him on at a minor league deal with an invite to spring training. But I don't. I think his time has been worn out with the Yankees.
Well, he's recovering from Tommy John surgery. There's a reason why he's getting hammered like a drum. His pitches don't have depth. Everything is coming in low trajectory and
Probably came
flat.
back
And,
too early.
well, my personal opinion, Luis Hill came back too early.
Yes,
I think he needed 3 more starts down in the minor leagues.
you're probably right.
He's what, at 75, 80 pitches now at the major league level? And you noticed in his one start, Hill is primarily a fastball pitcher. What did he throw a majority of?
I don't remember.
Sliders and changeups. Why is he doing that? He's trying to get a feel for those off-speed pitches. When he came out and was throwing the fastball for that one inning, he struck out 2 out of the 3 batters that he faced. And you noticed when he was throwing, a lot of pitches were to the outside part of the plate, missing. That's why I think he probably needed a couple more rehab starts.
Well, then the Yankees shouldn't rush back their injured players.
Well, I'll tell you what, just my personal opinion, I think the reason that Clark Schmidt is broken is because they brought him back too quick.
Probably.
And Clark Schmidt's future with the Yankees, I don't see him as a starter ever again. After his second Tommy John surgery, I think he's a bullpen arm straight.
That's probably a smart idea. And that greatly limits his value.
It does. What do you think, NFV?
What, with Clark Schmidt?
Yep.
I mean, to be honest with you, Ken, I wouldn't even. He would belong in the bullpen, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees were to try to bring him back as a starter. I'm just saying. I see something like that happening, just based on how the Yankees like to work. I can see them bringing him back, trying to make him a starter, but he's going to miss pretty much all of 2026. He'll probably be back at this rate, like what, September of next year, and then
Probably.
yeah, and then and then there's another arbitration year for 2027. So, it could also be that his days with the Yankees could be numbered too, for all we know.
Do I think that we brought Judge back too soon? Yeah, I do. If Judge is not capable of playing the field and throwing the ball, we have a DH already who's been one of the hottest players we've had for the last month and a half, who's not going to see the field and is probably going to get very limited at-bats.
Well, the other question is, why did the Yankees bring up all these injured players before they're ready? They're only gonna, if you come back from injury too quickly, the only thing you could do is hurt yourself even more. As we saw with Schmidt.
I don't have the answer to that. I'm not in the room with those guys, so I don't know what those discussions are like. That's my answer.
And you're sticking to it.
I'm sticking to it. Yeah, I don't have a connection with the New York Yankees. I don't have a connection with the front office. I don't have a connection with Aaron Boone.
You mean you don't have Cash doesn't have you on speed dial?
Unfortunately, no. I've tried to get in contact with him, but just not working.
Well, I applied for a job to be the southeastern scout for the New York Yankees, and they didn't think I was good enough, so I didn't get the job.
Oh, there you go.
Did you really do that, or
Yes,
yeah?
I have the baseball skills. I have the analytical eye. I can analyze data.
They didn't think you were good enough.
I guess not, because they gave somebody else the job. So
Did you even get an interview with them?
2 telephone interviews.
2 telephone interviews.
The final one would have been in New York itself.
Well, maybe that's the reason why they've been. How long ago was this?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yep.
Well, maybe if they gave you the job, they would have had a different perspective in the World Series last year.
Well, I would have scouted the Dodgers a hell of a lot different than they were scouted.
Well, exactly.
However, both my oldest sons will tell you that pitchers will lie to get back on the field. Yeah, without a doubt, real Bill. Hell, I lied to get back on the field.
Well, that's part of a manager's job is to look past that lie and say you're done. You have spend the rest of the day on the bench.
But they're relying on players to be honest with them. They're trusting their guys to tell them the
Well,
truth. And,
sometimes.
here's another thing. Here's another thing. I met a minor league player way back when, or I don't want to say minor league player, but he was trying out to get on with the San Francisco Giants. And guess what? He was a pitcher, and his arm was jacked up. But guess what? Guess what he did? He kept going. Why? Because if he didn't, he was done. And as a result of him keeping going, it messed up his arm. But there was a once in a lifetime opportunity that he wasn't going to be like, oh, hey, my arm is shot or I'm hurt. Because once they hear that, you're cut. That's it. Boom.
Here's another one for you too. If you're on the major league roster, there's 20 guys sitting there trying to look to take your spot.
Exactly. They're hungry. They're all hungry. So
I mean, God's honest truth, if you look at it, every person who has ever played professional Major League Baseball wouldn't fit in a Major League stadium. You'd still have seats left over.
There's only how many Major League Baseball players have been there? Maybe 25,000.
Roughly. During my time frame, there were only 660 major leaguers at any given point. Now it's, I think, 720.
Yeah, well, between then and now, there's been 4 more teams. You were when you were going to be drafted. That would be for the Marlins and Colorado Rockies.
Yep. It was the 80s, and the team talking to me was the Twins.
So the Rockies and Marlins didn't come until 93.
Yep. 10 years after my window. So, it's baseball. Everybody's trying to get on the field. You've got 15,000 minor leaguers playing ball right now for 720 slots. That's less than 8% chance of making the major leagues.
And Ken, you've seen me interview so many players, former players, and I ask them the question, like, what made you stand out? What made you keep going? What made you, how did you overcome the adversity? I mean, it's just, those guys are going to play through injuries. They're going to, if they're hurt, hey, oh well, put some dirt on it. You got to get back out there. You're trying to accomplish something, because the second you miss a game, or if you get taken out, or whatever the case may be, it's hurting. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting your chances, and it's next man up.
You get sent down on an IL, and the next guy comes up and he's banging.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to slow roll you.
Yeah,
you might actually lose your job.
Yeah, it's competitive. It's very, very competitive. So, and these guys wanted to get back on the field is because, the thing is they want to help contribute to the team. They want to be the face of the team. They want their names being said, and they want all the accolades. So, players are, these guys are professional athletes. So, you think they want to miss time? Probably not. They want to get back out there and as soon as possible.
This is actually encouraging news, what I see here. Kyle Carr tonight, he pitched 7 innings, 5 runs, 5 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, no walks, 6 strikeouts, 78 pitches, 54 strikes.
Yeah.
So that's very encouraging from Kyle Carr.
And so Bill's comment here, well, David Bednar yesterday when Boone came out, and Bednar was like, "No, like I want to finish this. I want to get the 5 outs."
That reminded me of the
Paid
Mussina,
off.
what Mussina did with Torrey. You remember that game?
Mhm.
Mussina wanted to finish the game. Torrey was there with the 9th inning with 2 outs. Mussina told them to stop and go back to the dugout. And he got
Yep.
the next out to end the game.
Bill, I have quite similar stories. You can't imagine how many times I've told Coach that's come out and need to turn around and head back. I got this. All right, fellas.
Yep.
I want to thank everybody for coming up on the panel, and I want to thank everyone being here. We're at an hour and 35 minutes. I know everybody's got things to do, so I appreciate y'all coming up. I appreciate all y'all taking time on this baseball-less Thursday and spending time here, talking a little bit of baseball and giving us your insights too. Most appreciated. Before I shut it down, though, if you have not, please hit the like and subscribe, share the channel out. And if you're not a member of the NY or the Yankees, the Ugly Truth, consider subscribing. Be most appreciated. And if any last thoughts?
No, just they got Yankees have a tough series coming up. I mean, it's not the schedules doesn't get any easier. So I will say that they just got to go out, put together a series of wins instead of just 1 or 2 wins. They got to go. They need to get like a 5 or 6 game winning streak going to make some sort of attack in the division at least. So they just gotta get these guys got to get back on track. So let's go Yankees. Thanks for having me on, Ken.
No problem. Most
Yeah,
appreciated.
like NFE said, Yankees have a tough series, but Schlittler is on the mound tomorrow. I'm hoping to see a nice, good game by Schlittler. Maybe he can give up 1 or 2 runs at most, if not less. Give them 6 innings. And, I'm hoping for a nice, clean game from Schlittler. And hopefully he can pitch like the pitcher that the Yankees think he is, with run support.
All right. Let's go Yankees, and we'll see you in the funny page.
All right.
Thanks for joining the stream. Most appreciated.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Night.